We are live. We're on the air. That's right. Here we are again. I seemed to hit a nerve yesterday. I must have hit a real hot button, red hot. Let's do something about it topic. I was kind of surprised. The video went for an hour and a half, and I really wasn't looking to go an hour and a half long. So that kind of surprised me. But it seems like it's a topic you guys want me to talk about. I don't understand. I really don't. Debt free, paying off my bills, retiring early with no money in the bank, living the dream. It's not easy to do sometimes. It's yesterday, this morning. Let's talk about today. I got up. I got in my little dune buggy, Razor, desert buggy thingy, and I went chasing a sunrise. I mean, it felt great to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to go out here and chase a sunrise and take a few pictures and just clear my head and get a little dirty and enjoy the fresh air early in the morning. And a buddy of mine bought one on Craigslist. He went down Sunday and made the deal, and he was going back today to pick it up. So I went with him. Met a guy, 79 years old. He races speedboats. I mean, we're not talking about speedboats like you think speedboats. I'm talking ocean-worthy, fast, 150 miles an hour across. These things fly. 79 years old. The guy races the middle leg. There's 3 parts to this race that he races in. It's 100 miles each. He races the middle one. The little Razor, Polaris Razor 4x4 side-by-side thing that my buddy bought was also his, and he takes it out in the desert all the time. Says he hasn't ridden it since March. It's a 2018. Damn thing had 5,000 miles on it. Not many of them have 5,000 miles on it. He says, hell, that ain't nothing. I got a 4-seater that's got 16,000 miles on it. This guy rides them. He's living the life. He obviously has enough money. He didn't really care if he sold this thing or not. He has enough money to support his lifestyle. But he's living the dream. He's living what I want to do. Why don't I have a wrench? I don't know, Joni. I don't know why you don't have a wrench. You can't give out wrenches from StreamYard. I'd have to find out how to do it in YouTube. I think your husband took it away. I think your husband asked me to take it from you. Blame it on Scott. The guy's living the dream, man. He did whatever he wanted. He showed us his race car, not a race car, but a street rod that's in the 100-mile-an-hour club. He showed us all his toys. He had a beautiful home. He was just enjoying the rest of his life the way he wanted. And that's what I want. Now, I don't have money. I'm kind of broke. Hey, Jason, how are you? I'm kind of broke. I don't have no money in the bank. I paid off my bills. But it seems like yesterday I hit a hot button. I have never gotten as many messages on Facebook after I've done a show as I did yesterday. I'm still getting messages about it. Oh, we're just looking to, my wife lost her job. We're looking to replace her income. Jason from Jersey, I believe, who I think it is, he's looking to make a student loan payment, make enough to pay a student loan payment. I really didn't think there was going to be much interest in me doing something with Steve's wife, kind of giving her some pointers, helping her along, showing her what I did to pay off my debt, to help her pay off 2 cars. Marcia and Steve have 2 car loans that they want to pay off. And Marcia and I have decided that we're going to do a show together. And over the next 18 months, our goal is to pay off her car loan. Just by selling on eBay and Amazon. Now, if we do Amazon, and we have not committed to do Amazon yet, but if we do Amazon, it will only be merchant fulfilled. We will not use FBA. I'm not going to open up a whole can of worms, but we can do merchant fulfilled because it's the same basic thing as eBay. You list your item on sale on Amazon. If somebody buys it, you stick it in a box and you got to mail it out. So it's basically the same. The listings got to be built, things like that. It's all pretty together. So I've really been thinking about this debt thing. I mean, listen, Dave Ramsey has a great program. If you're a Dave Ramsey fan, this isn't me beating him up. It wasn't clickbait. It just didn't work for what the problems I was having. Dave Ramsey's plan is that you pay off the smallest debt and work your way up. Well, my biggest debt was Amazon. If anybody knows about Amazon lending, it is like loan sharking. It needed to be attacked first. It needed to be attacked hard, and it needed to be taken down. I had to make sure that somehow that loan had a plan to be paid off in full by the end of 2020. And that's where I'm at. December 23rd, 2020, my last payment is due to Amazon. It may be January before it gets paid, depending on how Amazon's payout works, at the end of the year for me. I didn't go look, but it's when my last payment is due. So how did I do it? Honestly, guys, I took a little bit of Dave Ramsey, and I took a little bit of this guy, and I took a little bit of that guy, and I looked at some 0% interest credit cards. And what I did was I worked on one thing at a time. The first thing I had to do to get out of debt was you have to cut your spending. I don't care who you are, how much, excuse me, how much money you got coming in. I don't care about any of that. If you don't cut your spending, it's going to be extremely hard to pay down the debt that you currently have, because it's just how it is. Nobody spends less than they make for the most part. We usually spend more based on payments. Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week, which I thoroughly enjoyed, it helped me get to where I am in business. Basically says, hey, beg, borrow, and steal the money to enjoy your retirement now. You couldn't, enjoy your retirement now with little small periods of work in between. The 4-Hour Work Week, if you really read it and understand it and digest it, it's not about working 4 hours a week. It's really it talks about making money, making enough income to pay for the things that you want in life. So I took some of that into consideration when I was paying off debt. And I spoke to my accountant. One of the first things we talked about was wasteful spending. So the first area I looked at was subscriptions. What subscriptions do I pay for every single month or every quarter that I don't even use the program anymore? Some of the things I found were odd stuff. One of the people that worked for me asked me to get Adobe. It's only $14.99 a month. But if you take $14.99, $15, it's $180 a year. So I canceled it. Well, I had been paying for that sucker for 5 years after the employee left. I was paying for it, $180. That's $1,000 I wasted. As I started to do this, I started to see where I was wasting a lot of money. That was the first thing that I did to pay off the debt. It really was. I had to get all that wasteful spending stopped. Did Lori and I go to rice and beans like Dave Ramsey says? No, I did not agree with Dave Ramsey on that. I worked my ass off for a lot of years. I was entitled to eat steak and lobster. And when I wanted steak and lobster, I went out and still ate steak and lobster. So I was able to pay off my debt. The other thing about Dave Ramsey was he talks about side hustles. You got to grow your business. You got to bring in more money to pay down the debt. Well, the problem was it didn't matter how much money I brought in. The business consumed it. I didn't get extra money out of the business to pay my debt. I get a paycheck just like many of you do. I get a paycheck on Friday. I didn't get a paycheck from February because of the pandemic. When I started laying people off, I stopped my paycheck. I've not gotten paid. Well, this past Friday, I got all my back pay. I finally got paid back all the money that the company owed me. But during the pandemic, I didn't get paid. And it's because I had my debt paid down. I didn't have to get paid. I was okay. Financially, I was okay. I wasn't able to save, but I'm slowly becoming a saver. But I had to cut my spending, guys. If you can do something and you're paying $10 for a service a month, get rid of the service and do it yourself for right now. If you have debt, you have to cut your spending. And you have to be picky about it. Dave Ramsey said increase your income. The problem is if I was going to pay off the Amazon loan, because the payments are so high and the repayment schedule is so short, I couldn't spend more money to buy more product to increase my sales if I was throwing large sums of money at this loan to pay down this loan. I was really in a catch-22. Dave Ramsey says there's no such thing. I disagree with him. I was in a catch-22, and what I did was I went totally against his system. I refinanced my Amazon loan. This was going back, we're going to go back about a year. I'm going to say it was September. I can get the exact date because I know which loan it was. I refinanced the Amazon loan with a plan of paying it off in 1 year. I knew exactly how it was going to get paid off, where the money was coming from, and it was a very detailed plan of how it was going to occur. What I did was, and I do not recommend this, you better know what you're doing because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. I consolidated all my debt into an Amazon loan. All my credit card debt for the business, all my debt, any debt that I had through the business, I consolidated into the Amazon loan. And then I took an extra $50,000 in that Amazon loan, which went directly into a savings account in case something happened and I needed money. I would just keep making the payments. I would keep operating the business as that $50,000 was nothing, no part of the company or anything. I did not spend a penny of it. I leveraged everything into that Amazon loan. We set it up to make the payments, and that's what we did. And I have made every single payment to pay that loan down. I have a plan to finish paying off that debt. I have paid off somewhere in the neighborhood of $700,000 in the last 2.5 years. I've been working on paying off debt with the company. You have to understand, unlike Dave Ramsey, who started a second business, this isn't his first business. His first business went belly up because he couldn't manage the income. All right, Dave Ramsey, if you're listening, I'm calling you out on that fact. You know, you started a second business. Your first business went belly up because you didn't pay your debt. I'm in here swinging on my first business that I've borrowed money against since before the business started. To buy the first product, I took a loan. I've never been totally out of debt with this company. That's why I'm so excited about December 23rd. I did not use the baby steps to pay off the debt. I didn't do it. All right. I think his system works for a lot of people, but I don't think it's perfect for everybody. He does not agree with credit cards because of the type of business that I run. My cash back on my credit cards is close to $12,000 a year. I'm going to get $12,000 free money because I use certain credit cards. Well, guess what, Dave Ramsey? I'm going to keep using those credit cards. It's just how it is. But the first thing I had to do was stop my wasteful spending. Before I even could come up with a plan, I had to cut my expenses because my expenses were killing me. My business expenses were killing my business, and my personal expenses were killing me personally. It is business debt is different. Amazon Seller 99 says business debt is different than personal debt. All large corporations have debt. They wouldn't exist without it. Well, as of December 23rd, this large corporation will not have debt against the business. I understand what you're saying, but because I signed for it personally, it is still personal debt. If I was to die, my wife would be strapped with my debt from the company. Although I have life insurance in place to cover that. We can talk about that at another time. But guys, I had to cut my wasteful spending. So once I got the business spending under control, I went through and cut all these things. I said, I wonder how many of those things apply in my personal life. How much money am I spending on subscriptions, on monthly subscription fees for stuff that I don't even use? I went through every single credit card statement, line by line by line, to find every single dollar that I was wasting personally. Lori and I went on a tighter budget. Did we go to a Dave Ramsey perfect budget, where I forget what it's called. Every dollar is what he uses. No. Did I have a $1,000 emergency fund? No, I actually had a $5,000 emergency fund. The tires on Big Bertha are $800 a piece. If I needed a set of tires, if I needed 2 tires, I'm looking at close to $2,000. Once I cleared the spending, I said that I would do it every 6 months, and I do, guys. I go in every 6 months, and I look at my subscriptions, and I decide if I need to keep them or get rid of them. Do I use them, or if I don't use them? If I don't use them, I cancel them. Even if they're good for another 6 months, I still cancel it so they don't get my credit card, so I don't make another payment. It is embarrassing. I will not even go into the numbers, but it was tens of thousands of dollars that I have wasted over the years in subscription fees. It made me think another way. So I did that. I then took some of Dave's ideas. He says, start with the littlest credit card payment and throw all the extra money at it, and all the other credit cards, you make a minimum payment. What I did was I got a credit card offer for $25,000. It allowed me 18 months of 0% interest. So I took the highest interest credit cards that I had and paid them off with a balance transfer to the 0% credit card. Now, understand something. What I'm going to tell you, if you screw up, it's going to be expensive. But I did it. I forced myself to do it. No matter what, I made every single payment. I loaded that $25,000 credit card with $24,600 worth of debt or whatever it was. I then took it and divided it by 17 payments, whatever that number came out to be. If I remember right, it was around $1,500 a month that I was paying the credit card company. So that in 17 payments, 30 days before what they gave me, I had a zero balance on that credit card and I paid no interest. I saved thousands of dollars. Now, what I did was on the other credit cards, I paid the minimum payment because I was struggling to make that big payment on that 0% credit card. But after 18 months, that debt was gone. And guess what I did? I got another credit card with 0%, and I loaded all the debt from highest interest rate, the lowest interest rate, divided by the number of months that I was allowed to have for the credit card, and I paid that. And I paid minimum on everything else. We had, including the car, at one point the car loan went onto a credit card. And I got the title to the car, but I had credit card debt that I had at 0%, and I divided it out. And that's why I said over 2.5 years it took me to do this, guys. This was not an overnight thing. It was hard. When I got done, I felt broke. I felt broken as a person. I felt broken inside. I felt my spirit was broken. And everybody was like, oh, it's this great feeling to be debt free. Well, the only debt I have right now is the Amazon loan. I have the loan on the RV, and I have the Harley payment. The reason I have not paid off the Harley is because the interest rate is 0%. And there's no sense in taking money that I can use and paying off something that's 0%. The deal was done. I can't change it. I can't go back and renegotiate it. It's over. It's just how it is. It's over. The deal was done. I'm at 0% interest. I actually owe less on the motorcycle than it's worth. So if I decide to sell the bike tomorrow, which it is going up for sale, guys, my Harley Davidson is being sold because I don't ride it enough to keep a $25,000 bike in front of my RV. I just don't ride it enough, and I'm gonna sell it. I bought a side-by-side razor thing that I go out in the desert and play with. That is paid for in cash. I did not borrow any money on that. I bought a 2009 and paid cash for it. That's how I am now. I pay cash. I do agree with some of the things Dave Ramsey said. Don't think that I'm down on Dave Ramsey and I think everything he says is garbage. I don't. I do pay cash for a lot of things. I do use a credit card, which he doesn't agree with, but I do use one. But I use it responsibly. I have a zero balance. I pay off my statement balance. End of story. I don't pay any interest on the credit card, and I get a cash back. I use cash back cards. I get about, according to my accountant, I asked him the other day, I get about $16,000 in total between my personal and my business cash back. It works for me. Now, that's how I did it. That's how I got to where I am today. Okay? Where am I today? I got 95% of my debt paid off. I have a few dollars in the bank. I guess it would be Dave Ramsey's step 3, where you put away an emergency fund. That's where I'm working. I did take a large chunk of cash, what I consider large, and funded my first and only IRA that I've ever had in my life. I maxed it out for 2019 and 2020. Do I have $100,000 in the bank? Nope. I'm not at that point. I'm at a point where now I have to figure out, okay, I got my bills paid. My spending habits are much better. If I want a steak, I go out and pay cash for my steak. I don't waste money anymore. My subscriptions have been cut. I don't have any credit card debt. I'm not out looking at new cars, although I have looked at a new Corvette. I won't buy it because I'm not going to take a loan for a Corvette. Then I have to worry about full coverage insurance, blah, 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 a whole lot of stuff. So that's where I'm at. Here's what I can tell you. What worked for me will not work for you. Plain and simple. We're not the same person. Will some of my ideas possibly work for you? Yes. The subscription thing, you need to go pull your credit card statements out if you haven't done this and go line by line by line and say, oh, wait a minute. I pay for a domain name. I've been paying for a domain name since 2001, I think it is, that I don't even use, I don't even like, and I don't have it. Now, this is where you have to do what's best for you. Dave Ramsey's a very smart man about paying off debt. He can help you with paying off debt. If you watch his system, if you watch all his videos, if you ask him about investing money, he says, call one of the people that charges you to talk to you. One of his people that pay him to be promoted on his website to charge you to take care of financials for your money. But he has great ideas about paying off debt. For me, I couldn't go get a second job. How do I get a second job as a business owner? I own a company. How do I get a second job and make extra money to pay off my debt? I couldn't do it. So that didn't work for me. It may work for you to be able to get a second job. Jason says, my problem is finding 2 to 3 products resell that are replenishable, but doesn't everybody have that problem? No, actually, I've never had that problem because I started my business different than most people. But I do understand your problem. It is something that I am going to talk about in the future. Guys, understand, this is all because of yesterday. I hit a topic that you guys went nuts on. I didn't get a lot of thumbs up. It wasn't like I seen it in that. I didn't see it in my metrics in YouTube. It was the response to me personally on Facebook, people reaching out to me saying, this is exactly what I need right now. I need to find that bottle of whatever this is, Cosequin, for the dog so that she doesn't have such hip pain, that sells on eBay, makes an extra $100 a month for me to put on an extra $100 on the car payment so I can get that car loan paid down. This wasn't that people wanted me to show them how to sell on eBay from Goodwill or any of that. This was more about, this is how I paid off all this debt, guys. I sold it wasn't really stupid stuff. It's replenishable stuff on eBay and Amazon. And once I figured out how to sell those things, how to find those things, I was able to add more to it. I know a lot of people go out and scan and look for a big profit. I didn't look for a big profit. I wanted 60 cents on a dollar. I figured if I had $1,000 and I could make that $1,000, if I could turn it into $1,500 at the end of the month, I had $500 that I could put against my bills and take $1,000 and do it again the next month. This was above the business money. This was above the normal business. And the easiest way for me to be able to do that was to find stuff that was replenishable with small profit margins. Because all you guys are out there, think about this for a minute now. Think about the logic behind what I was doing. Okay? If I had $1,000, right? If I had $1,000 and I put it in the bank and I got 10%, it would mean that I would make $100 in the course of 1 year. If I had extra money and I did that, that's great. but trying to make more money to pay off my debt wasn't a great thing. If I had $1,000 that was in the bank and I could buy stuff and sell it on eBay and get back $1,200 or $1,500, I was able to take that extra money and apply it to my bills. But if you figure it out, what I was getting for a return on my investment over a year, doing it every month, the same thing, it paid off my debt. I don't need to find a product that I can buy for $1, and I know that they're out there. There are some out there. You buy it for $1 or $2. I have products that I buy for $5 that I sell for $20. There's still some products out there, but they're not common. If you pay $1 and you make $1.70 back, and you can do that a couple hundred times a month, you got a nice little bit of money that you can apply to your bills. Is it an income? No. If you continue to do it over and over again, eventually, this is what happens. You pay off all your debt, and that money, instead of having to go with the debt, you now have money to do something with. That's where I'm going to be in December. That's why I've been talking about this stuff, because I don't know what to do in December. When my bills are paid off in December, when I pay off that Amazon loan in December, I'm going to have the payment in January going, okay, what do I do with this money? That's what this was about. This wasn't about, when I started this, it wasn't to pay off debt. But, God has a plan, and it seems to be you guys are more interested in knowing how I paid off the debt than how to build wealth. I'm just now, after 13 years in business, just now to where I'm going to start getting money above my bills, and I'm going to go, okay, now what do I do with it? How do I save it? Where do I invest it? I don't know. What I do know is by selling these things I pay $1 and I get $1.50 back. After all my expenses, I get $1.50 back. That's better than any bank loan I can get. That's better than any part-time job I can get for paying off my debt. Now, how did I do my research? How did I do all that? That's coming when I start working with Marcia. I really need to work with one person, because then I get the feedback. But what if? What then? How about if I try and I get feedback to be able to mentor her over the next 18 months to pay off her car loan. My goal is to pay off her car loan in December of 2021, that her and Steve's cars are paid in full. I don't expect them to be rich. I don't expect them to have anything more than they currently have, except for those loans were paid off in full by what Marcia and I do. That's it. So we're going to take some money, we're going to sell some product, we're going to take the profit from that product, and we're going to apply it to the car loan, and then we're going to take the money and buy that same product again to sell again. That's how this works, guys. That's how I built what I have. That doesn't mean what Scott's doing is wrong. Scott finds the latest, greatest, hottest product. For example, I don't know if he sold masks or not. Him and I really never really talked about the hand sanitizer thing and all that. But when the masks were hot, normally Scott would be out there pumping all that in, trying to make. Mine is much different than that. I'm not that kind of person. Mine is, okay, I sold 5 pairs of reading glasses in 2.50 black frame, and I sold 2 pairs of 3.25, and I need to go to Dollar Tree and pick up my supplies so that my stock level is back to normal. And the profit that I made from those sales, I can take and put into my savings account now. Actually, at the time, it went to my bills. That's what it is. That's what I'm talking about. This is not going to make you rich, what we're going to do on the show. It's going to give you the basis to be able to build something as you become debt-free. Okay? If people say, well, why don't you make more sales and pay off the Amazon loan faster? To build up the sales in December, I'm going to have even more money that I don't know what to do with. I don't need more money. Sometimes you have to build a plan and allow the plan to take care of you. Guys, I decided that about this time last year, it was July, August, I took out a loan that was going to be paid off in November, I think. Don't hold me to it. I could look up the records. I don't know exactly. But the whole plan was that through 2020, everything I did would be to pay off that loan in 12 equal payments, just like I did my debt on the 0% credit cards. If I had an extra $500, I did not put it on the 0% credit card. It went towards another debt. If there's an extra $500 one month, although there was never an extra $500, there was always something that came up that cost me any extra money I had. I had saved $1,200, and the freaking dog got sick and had to go to the vet. And guess how much the bill was? $1,263. Everything I saved plus a couple of dollars, so I had that peanut butter and jelly one night. The plan was designed to take care of my debt by the end of 2020. If I can pay it off in November of 2020, guess what? I'm not going to. The plan is the plan. I make my payments. I have 12 payments to make. Ding, 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 ding. I have 5 more payments to make. And they'll be made. Ding, 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 ding. It's the lowest amount I've owed to Amazon in years. I own more of my business than I have ever owned. And I'm in good shape because of it. I'm not going to rush my plan because my plan is working. For the first time, there's a little money in the bank. If something happens in the business, I got a little bit of money. If I added it to the payment, I don't have that cushion to fall back on. For the first time, everything is working very well. And it's because I built a plan, I used a plan, and I sell product. Okay? I have a block of money that I sell those products. I replace that number of products. I don't buy more. I don't buy less. I buy that number of products in my inventory. When they sell, I take the profit and it goes into another account. That's what I was using to pay off my debt. That is how I'm going to show Marcia how to pay off her debt. She's going to take X number of dollars, whatever it is she has. If it's 200, 500, 1,000, 100, whatever it is, we're going to find products that she can sell. When they're sold, she's going to buy those products again, take that money, and pay. We're not going to build a business per se. We're going to build sales for the inventory. Now, if sales exceed her inventory, we may have to look at growing the business to fit sales, but it's still going to be that amount. Best thing ever is being debt-free. I don't know. I still owe $400,000, guys. Between the RV, the motorcycle, and Amazon, I still owe $400,000. $400,000 in American money. I am disgusted. I make my accountant, My accountant has changed the form he sends me once a month to show me my profit and loss and all the income numbers that I ask for. The first number at the top is how much freaking interest I paid this month on everything. It's a disgusting number of money that I'm opening up the freaking front door and throwing it out. It pisses me off every month I do it, but I know that there's an end. I know that eventually I'm going to be out of debt and that money's going to be mine again. I'm going to be able to have a little more because I'm not paying Amazon interest. Guys, anybody got any questions? I'm interested in any free knowledge given. I can try to do something with. Guys, the show's starting in September. Marcia and I are going to do a live show. We're thinking it's not going to be a live show. It's going to be recorded. This way, if we need to edit something out, if something gets shown on screen that can't be shown, it's going to be edited out. I'm not going to do a lot of editing, but we're going to make sure that nothing gets said or seen that shouldn't be said or seen in public. There are some things in business that you just cannot discuss. An account number, a password, something like that. The borrower is a slave to the debtor. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, land shark picker, but there's also the side of me that says, remember, I was homeless when I started this company, and because of the debt, I have everything that I have now. Without that debt, I would never have this. I would never have been able to start. My very first item that I sold in this company was bought with a credit card because I did not have 2 pennies to buy myself dinner that night. So I understand what you're saying about the borrower is a slave to the debtor. I fully understand that statement, but there's another side to it when you're poor like me. Without the debt, I would never have gotten here. I would never have made where I am now. I couldn't have made the deals that I made with some of the larger companies that I deal with. That $1 billion company, I would not have been able to make that deal without borrowing money. The MOQs of bringing stuff in from China, I would never have been able to manage. But I agree. Listen, if you can do it debt-free, the best thing to do is debt-free. If you can do it debt-free, the best thing to do is do it debt-free. That's actually in the Bible. Yeah, but it also, if I make my payments every month, I'm not indebted. I'm in debt, but my payments are made. I have made all my payments. The Bible says to honor your word. And the deal was that I make payments for X number of months. There's some ways you can read that, Dusty. There's different philosophies on what the Bible says about that. The one thing I know about the Bible is that when I'm dead, I'm the guy that stands before God for what my actions are. I really believe that God led me down this path. I don't believe that every decision I made was the best decision, but because I trusted in God, He used that decision that I made for His glory. Whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, it was for His glory in the end. I do believe that. Nose Pickin asked, how's the diet going? Total weight loss. I'm embarrassed to say I lost just over a pound last week. My eating habits were not bad. Drum roll, please. I am down almost. I'm down over 31 pounds. I think it's 31.2 pounds that I'm down. I lost like 1.3 pounds. Anyway, I do want to be debt free. I do want to be debt free, guys. I'm not saying that that is a good thing. I'm really not. I did use debt to get out of debt. I do not recommend it. If you are not dedicated, guys, and if you know that you're not going to hold to that you've tried it before and failed, don't go get a 0% credit card and roll all your credit, roll over your high interest into the 0%, because you're just going to kill yourself. Dusty, I'm not. This isn't the time or the place. You seem to know my business better than I do. I run a multi-million-dollar corporation, and things are different. End the story, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Not all Christians see eye to eye, guys. Dusty and I do not see eye to eye all the time. He's of the Dave Ramsey school, pay cash for everything, and life will be great. I started my company with nothing. I borrowed to buy my first product. I did not have money to buy food that day. All right? We're different. And I've been able to use some of that to reach out to people about God and the God that I understand and all of that. Did I have some ego issues as I grew my business? Yes, I've openly admitted that Dave the Hammer Schultz from the Philadelphia Flyers, was one of the worst decisions I made in business. It caused me a lot of debt, and it was all because I wanted the ego of saying I had a famous hockey player that was investing in my company. I openly admit that. A lot of times my ego gets me in trouble, but it also has helped me in business. I'm also humble when I say that I do things wrong. If you actually listen to what I say, I admit a lot of the mistakes I make. I have a company that I built according to the laws of this country, which is in the Bible, to obey the laws of the country. Pay your taxes, all your taxes, and it is a corporation that will last after I'm dead. I know Dusty thinks that's a grandiose idea, but I have a board of directors that can replace me. If I do something too far out in left field, if I get hit by a bus and I end up in a hospital unconscious, like a friend of mine in a coma on a respirator, my business will legally be able to continue. I've made a lot of mistakes. The one mistake I have not made through the entire thing was lose my faith in God, the God that I understand, the God I read about in the Bible as I understand, and the God that I'll stand before when I'm dead and answer for my mistakes. I'm willing to do that since we're talking about God and mistakes. But that's how it goes, guys. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm about to win the race. I'm going to have a nice income in December. When that last payment is finally made to Amazon, I'm going to have a nice income from my company. The problem is, if you ever ask me what the biggest mistake I made in this business was, it was that I didn't understand what I was doing when it came to borrowing money. That did hurt me, but it also caused me to learn. Repetition is the father of learning. That's why I keep trying at this. And that's what you have to do. You have to find what works for you and you alone. If you ever notice, very rarely do I say, you should do this. I say, this is what I did. A lot of people want to tell me what I should do without having full knowledge of everything. What I should do is give it to God, and God will let me know what I should be doing. I listen to counsel. I listen to advice. I don't like to be told what I should do or what I shouldn't do. Did I live a grandiose life for a little while? Yeah. Did I live above my means? Hell yeah. I had 3 freaking Infinities parked in my driveway selling on eBay. Think about that for a minute. Selling on eBay. Now, my wife was a teacher. She had an income, but we had 3 freaking Infinities sitting in the driveway. Nobody needs that. I'll be the first to admit that. There was no reason I needed that. I had people telling me I was entitled to it. I really wasn't. That I don't need this big luxury RV. This is way too much. We felt we deserved it. And in reality, the only thing we deserve is death. Are you still planning on selling on your own website? Land Shark Picker brings up a good thing. This is where you have to be really careful about what you do. I did not know this. I was lucky that I had not started my website, that I did not build it up to a certain level of sales, but the American Disability Act says that every website must be compliant with their laws. It has nothing to do with the number of employees you have. It has to do, okay, Craig, sorry about that. You have to abide by the decisions of the laws that were passed according to the American Disability Act. Don't fully understand it. What I know is if you are not compliant with ADA, there are scumbag lawyers out there, and if you're one of them listening, you're a scumbag going after unknowing website owners and suing you and just wiping you out of business. So before I am going any further, I am going to speak to a lawyer about ADA protection. I am looking into I do have a website that is closed. It's you can't get to it. I do have it all designed. It's built. It's ready. I'm really concerned about numerous sellers that have now tried to take their business from Amazon onto their own website, getting hit with these laws. See, Arthur Leslie's talking about a lot of lawsuits for ADA compliance failure. I don't fully understand it all. So before I do anything, I'm not going to risk my business. I'm seeking counsel. I'm seeking legal counsel by an actual lawyer that understands the laws so that I know what I have to do. And I'm looking at software that will make my website ADA compliant. It is a scary, Shopify. Shopify is not ADA compliant. So if you have a Shopify store and you start doing some good sales, expect a lawsuit from ADA. There are some really scumbag lawyers out there. They started with all the big companies and they're working their way down in the sales level, and they get you for, they have settled most of their cases out of court for large sums of money. A friend of mine just settled for $25,000. They were going to take his entire business, multi-million-dollar company. He had to settle. He settled out of court for $25,000. And I'm sure his website's being watched like a hawk. See? I've been studying the nitty gritty about ADA for months now. Am I right, Arthur? I'm right in what I'm saying. These are lawyers that are out there for one thing and one thing only, and that's to sue somebody that doesn't fully understand what the law says and make a buck. They're really not. These people aren't trying to help the disabled. These people are out there for one thing, to make money for themselves. These lawyers. They're like ambulance chasers. Yeah, listen, I was lucky. I spent money to have my website built. We had designed a postcard to send out to previous customers. We did, we were ready to launch. We had redesigned some packaging to put the website address on the packaging. We did a couple of things that was compliant with Amazon's TOS. And I play by the books, guys. I know not everybody believes that. Every once in a while, Dusty pops up, and he wants to tell me what I should do. He doesn't want to give me friendly advice. He wants to tell me how I should run my business that I built. That's why Dusty and I don't see eye to eye. If you wonder why my blood pressure gets up. I listen to people that want to give me friendly advice. A lot of times I listen to it. But, that's how it is. You have to do what's best for you, not for me. Listen, that's what I've done for a long time. I've done what's best for everybody else. What everybody else thought I should do, the lawyer gets, see, here it is. The lawyers get paid for filing lawsuits on behalf of a disabled person. Case wins, attorney gets paid, disabled person gets zero. So, guys, the best thing I can say to you is you got to do what's best for you. If carrying a little debt is okay with you, then carry a little bit of debt. When you're dead, you're going to stand before your maker, whoever it is, whatever you believe. Unless you believe you're going to turn to fairy dust and that's the end, then you don't have to worry about any judgment. But if you believe in some kind of judgment, then when you're dead, you're going to have to stand in front of somebody and answer for what you did. So if you're okay with carrying debt, carry a little debt. I started my business based on debt. I'm okay with it. Did I do everything perfect? Hell no. Anybody that says they did it right is wrong. They lying. You're lying if you said you did everything right, unless it's not your first rodeo, first time around. I just know that I'm doing the best me I can every day. And if this is going to help you guys, I'm here for you. I know it's going to help Marcia and Steve, so I'm going to do the best I can to help Marcia and Steve. If somebody else is able to pick up some golden nuggets from that and use it, that's fine. It can easily put you out of business unless you've got deep pockets. That's what I've heard, man. My buddy's like, I ain't got 25 grand to pay him, but I settled, and now I got to beg, borrow, and steal to come up with the money and to get out of it because he's in a jam. They got him. They got him dead to rights. They know they do. They know they got him pinned against the wall, and he had no choice. He was given no options. It wasn't like you got to be compliant and we'll leave you alone. So I don't know if I'm going to start my own website. That kind of bothers me that you give anybody that kind of control. At least on Amazon, Amazon claims that they're Amazon's customers. They're not your customers. They're Amazon customers. So if their website's not compliant, go after frickin' Jeff Bezos. He's got deep pockets. But guys, if you want to be debt-free, the first place to start with your subscriptions. It worked for me. It should work for you. If you can save $50, Put it against a credit card because you didn't have that $50 last month. If you're able to save it next month, put it against a credit card, and eventually you pay your debt down. You got to cut spending. That's the first thing you have to do. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you don't cut your spending, if you don't cut your overhead, you're never going to get out from behind the 8 ball. Remember, God loves you. That includes you, Dusty. I'm trying. We're out. And guys, listen. I'm going to keep coming back with this same message. This is what I'm going to be talking about for a while. It may be about my debt. It may be about what I'm using for investments. I'm waiting for FTC to start banging websites for not following their guide. There's a lot of guidelines out there that Shopify says you're the store owner, you're supposed to be responsible for it. Don't think just because you have a Shopify store that it covers everything. So, guys, man, God bless you. Do me a favor. A friend of mine's in surgery right now. She's probably out of surgery. Just lift up a prayer. If you know Sue from the morning show, she had surgery today. I'm not going into details, so don't even bother asking me. If you pray to God, the God that I know, Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior, He knows why she needs prayer. Okay? He knows. Just to ask them to give the doctors knowledge. All right, guys, I'm out. God bless. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.